All right, gang. Today we're going to work with lesson number 7 out of our fraction concept notes, and we finally made it to fractions. So today we're going to be talking about understanding fractions and equivalent fractions. So the topics that we're going to be working on are introduction to fractions, understanding equivalent fractions, and equivalent fractions. So the first thing we need to know is vocabulary. So when I talk about a fraction, so this is a fraction. When I talk about my fraction, my top number is my numerator. My bottom number is my denominator. So we're not going to be saying the top number and the bottom number. We're going to be saying numerator and denominator. My numerator represents the part of a whole, and my denominator represents the whole. So if I say 2/4 of my piece of pie, the part of my whole is 2 pieces of pie out of 4. So I represent that fraction to say 2 out of 4, or 2/4. Okay, so this might be, if you're not familiar with this vocabulary, this might be a good thing for you to star to be sure that you understand. Okay, so let's take a look. We're first going to look at some things with pictures, and then we'll take a look at numbers. So Tom has 8 marbles. What fraction of his marbles are white? So if I have 8 marbles, remember we have a numerator and a denominator. So how many total does Tom have? Total, he has 8. And what fraction of his marbles are white? So I'm going to count the white ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 8 are white. Now I have a pie that's cut into 9 equal slices. I need to shade 2/3 of the pie. So 2 out of every 3 slices. So that's going to be left blank. So if I have, let's go this way, 2 out of 3 slices are going to be blank. So then I should have 2 more slices that will be filled in. So total, if I have 2/3, so again I have 2 slices out of 3. I have 2 slices out of 3, and I have 2 slices over here that are shaded in out of 3. So total, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 out of 9 slices, which is equal to 2/3. All right, now you're going to hit the pause button, and you will do the you try problems, and I'll be back with answers in just a second. All right, I have 1 out of 6 that are shaded, so my fraction is going to be 1/6. And then down here I had 1, 2, there's a third one, 1, 2. So 4 out of 6 are shaded, which is equal to 2/3. So again, this is understanding fractions by using pictures. So this gives us a great visual so that when we're only using numbers, we have a clue of what we're talking about. So let's look at how we're going to understand fractions with numbers and making equivalent fractions. So I have 2 ways that I can write equivalent fractions. My first way is I can multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, or I could divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. So with this one, 2/15, I can multiply, we're just going to multiply each one by 2. So that would be 2 times 2 is 4. 15 times 2 is 30. So these represent the same fraction. I don't have a common factor between 2 and 15, so I'm just going to multiply by 4 this time. So I'm going to multiply by 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. 15 times 4 is what, 60? So 8/60ths is the same as 4/30ths is the same as 2/15ths. Okay, let's try 2/4ths. The first time we're going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply my numerator and denominator by the same number. So I'm going to multiply by 2. 2 times, and it can be any number that you want as long as it's the same. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. On my next one, we're going to divide. So why can I divide? Because I have a common factor. A common factor between 2 and 4 is 2. So remember when we worked on finding the greatest common factor? That's what we're doing it for. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 2/4 is the same as saying 4/8 is the same as saying 1/2. Those are all equivalent. Now you are going to do the you-try problems, and I'll be back. All right, let's take a look at the you-try problems. Now you might have different answers than me. I just did multiply by 2, so I'd have 16/24. Multiply the top number by 2, then I have to multiply my denominator by 2. This one, I see that I have common factors, so I chose just to multiply by 2, which would give me divide by 2, which would give me 4/6. If I chose my greatest common factor, I would really be dividing by 4, which would give me 3. Dividing by 4 would give me 2/3. So you could also have 2/3 as an answer. All right, I don't have any common factors between 3 and 8, so I'm going to have to multiply both of these. So I just multiplied by 2 to give me 6/16, or if you multiply by 3, it'd give you 9/24. And again, as long as you have anything that if you multiply the top number by 18, then multiply the bottom number by 18. Something that's common that I see people do is multiply by 10, so you'd have like 30/80ths. Okay? And we're to our stamp page, so I will see you tomorrow, and we will fill out our stamp page first thing. Until then.